What's up, creatives? So, in the comments of one of my videos, someone asked about the GPT DALL-E 3 and API, and could it be done? And it can. It's not as straightforward as it seems, though, especially for those of us who don't write code. It can be a bit of a challenge. So, when you go to OpenAI and it gives you the code here, it just says, copy this code and run it. And, that's it. Doesn't really give you a lot of other information, right? At least not that I can understand. Again, I'm not a coder, so I don't fully understand what this is, but I kind of do. I kind of get it, but because I'm not proficient at Python, if there are any issues here, then I don't know how to troubleshoot it. And that's what happens with a lot of this when you're in the documentation and the API references. It's written in a way that if you're a developer, you get the nuances, but it's kind of like it's a 10-step process and you get 8 of the steps, but you get steps 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And so those middle steps are a little confusing. So that's why I went to ChatGPT and helped me write the code. And through a lot of fits and starts and everything like that, we did finally get the code. And this is what it is. So I can kind of highlight for you what's happening here. This is the first part. You have to import the OpenAI, you have to import the request. That's the straightforward. And then here is the function that is calling up the actual prompt. And it's looking at the directory and it's doing everything. So we have this function here. And then here, this section here is basically looking at, did it produce the images or did it not? And that's what we're looking at here. Okay. And then we have the fail to generate image. And then we have where the folder is. We have the API key that's grayed out. I don't want you guys to see my API key. And then you have the folder where the image is going to be stored, right? And then we have the prompt. And so this is what we're passing on. So let's pull up my command window. So here's my command prompt window, and I'm going to go to my G folder. Okay, so to get to the directory, you just type in the directory colon. And then to get to the actual GPT folder, it is CD for Chiefs directory and the directory name. Okay, so now we have my directory. Okay, now I will put this in because you do have to do some installs before you do this. So on your desktop, you have to make sure that Python is installed and you have to make sure that OpenAI is installed. And to do this, while you're in command, when you're in the command prompt, you will go pip install Python. Okay. And then to install OpenAI, you would go pip install OpenAI. So that's how you install these two libraries on your desktop. Okay, so I've done that already. So I just have to go Python. And the name of the file that I'm running is, I believe it's called, easy image.py. And now it's going to ask me to enter my prompt. My prompt is, let's just find something cool here. Let's see. I have this little thing here. We'll say, and then let's give it a style. Okay, so now we have an issue here. You tried to access OpenAI, but it's only supported by. So do I need to, so you can see here, you can see that we have some issues here. So let's go ahead and install this PIP, install Openai, going on 828. Let's see, does that work? Okay. So now that we got that, let's try this again. We're going to go Python easy image.py. Okay, so again, dramatic lighting. Failed to enter. I thought I had 1792 by 1024. Let's make sure. Size is 1792 by 1024. Yes. Okay, so we did a lot of troubleshooting here. This is one of those things that you run into when you're dealing with the API, in that sometimes you get these type of messages and you just have to simply troubleshoot them. And it looked like it was looking at an old version of this code. So I simply went in, saved it again, and then tried to regenerate it. So this time when I went Python, easy image.py. Okay, once again, this is the problem. It should say, it should have an S on it. So this is the type of things that you run into that you have to keep looking at. So let me make sure that I save it. Come over here, file S. All right. And we try one more time. Python. Easy image.py. And you can see now it says enter the prompt. I'm just going to paste it. And we can then wait for it to give me the message to say if it was generated successfully. Okay, says the image was generated successfully. Let's take a look at the image. And here is the image. We have it working. So this works. We'll save that. But I had a second level. The second part was, well, what if I wanted multiple scenes? And so now I'm asking it to look at the same code. The only difference is that I'm now asking it to open up a document and extract the scenes from that document. And then it's going to look here and it's just going to, this is the loop command here that's just going to continually loop until it goes through all of the scenes. Let's take a look at the scenes document. And here is the scenes document. So I'm going to save that. Okay. So there are my 4 scenes. And now I'm going to run Python easy image2.py. And before, where I had to paste in a scene, this time it's looking at the document and it is extracting from the document and putting in and creating the images from what it's getting from the document. Okay, so we'll fast forward and show you guys what the images are. So you can see image 0 generated successfully. Okay, so today I've generated 5 images at the total cost of 80 cents. Okay, now that is that's a lot, right? So that's the one thing that you may have to be careful with when it comes to DALL-E 3 and the API, is that it is not a cheap model. It isn't like GPT 3.5 is fairly cheap. I did a lot of stuff yesterday with it and it cost me 14 cents. But paid 60 cents here, but you can see I am for image modeling, I'm at 80 cents with just creating 5 images. So it can get expensive. I think this can be expensive. So if you're trying to create, you know, tens and thousands of images per day, then you really want to use your ChatGPT Plus account to do this, and not the API. Right. But let's take a look at the images and see what we got. We got some pretty good images if you think about it. If you take a look here, it produced some really great images. So one of these will be the thumbnail. I will provide the documentation for this. So if you guys want it, you can have it and you can use it. But it is a good starting point. But that is it. Just want to kind of cover this information, showing how we can do it, plus the cost. All right. So with that said, guys, I am out and appreciate you liking and subscribing. Hoping you watch the entire videos and hope you get some value out of it. All right. Until next time, keep creating.